Hello again in this instalment of Spiritual Wisdom. I'm grateful to all of you who follow me here and to this beautiful little community here on YouTube. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. And if you're new here, I hope you're doing well. My name is Nicholas, and on my channel I talk about witchcraft, Wicca, paganism, self-love, crystals and magical properties, and all matter of philosophical and spiritual topics. So if you're interested in those types of things, you know what to do. Please subscribe, join this amazing community, and click the bell icon to be notified each time I post a new video. And this is a safe place if you're a practicing witch, Wiccan, pagan, or whatever spiritual path you may be on, because there's no right or wrong spiritual path, there's just the path which is right for you. Now today I'm going to be talking about, are there right and wrong when it comes to spirituality? The answer to this question for the most part is no. There's no real right or wrong, as long as the practices you do and as long as the beliefs you have don't cause harm to yourself or others, and the practices you do don't cause harm to yourself or others, then everything's good in the spiritual hood, sort of speak. Everything's good. Now, some examples of that, like when you're walking a spiritual path, there's so much out there. Now, religion is its own thing, and you may have an interest in a specific religion or many religions, and each religion has, you got organised religions and then religions, but still have an order system, but may come out of that organised religion. Any religion that doesn't have Abrahamic roots would come under the pagan umbrella, and that. But as you're researching, you may find different religions, and some of their core beliefs may resonate with you, some of them won't. And when your spirituality is sort of outside of that, because a spiritual person, they would be like myself, an eclectic witch, born from different magical practices, what are opened, and be like a magpie sort of thing. But as a spiritual person, a lot of us who are quite spiritual as well may be a little bit of a magpie, where you've got maybe a belief in a higher power or gods or things, but you've also got a belief in karma and other spiritual beliefs which are all over the place. But you've got your own practice. Now, there's no right or wrong religion. There's no right or wrong way to be spiritual. If the way the religion you're following or the spiritual path you're on feels right in your heart and soul, then it is right, And if that path brings you joy, happiness, it's not hurting you or anyone else, then all is good. And there's no right or wrong religion or spiritual path. There's just a religion. There's just a spiritual path at the end of the day. And that walking your own path doesn't hurt other people. Now, some people may have a problem with it because they're blind in the sense they think their religion's the true one, the only one. So they're very angelical. They're very blinded by their perspective. So that it causes them offence because they're choosing to let your lifestyle choice offend them. But by and large, walking your own spiritual path, it doesn't cause any harm to you or anyone else. And also, when it comes to spell work, many of us as witches, we do spell work. But also, you don't have to be a witch to do spell work. You could be a very spiritual person, you could be very much into manifestation, and you could do spells to manifest your desires, your goals as well. And there's no real right or wrong way to do a spell, because at the end of the day, if you've got a good understanding of what a spell is, and you've got a good understanding of spell work, how to do a spell, and spells come in different shapes and sizes. If your intention is clear, like what you want, what you want out of the spell. So if your intention is clear, and a spell could be as simple as, this is sandalwood. So sandalwood's got a lot of different magical properties. It's very good for protection, it's very good for healing, it's very good for cleansing, but it's also very good for luck and prosperity. So you could take an incense stick like this, and then with your right hand, place your right hand over it and direct your energy, your intention on it, and then light it. And as it burns and the smoke releases, you could visualize that smoke being money or being green or gold or being your intention, and then you would record it. So spells can be quite simple or they can be very elaborate, but there's no right or wrong way to do a spell. As if your intention is clear, you're putting your intention into it, and the way you're doing it feels as if it's right in your heart and soul, then it is. And as witches, we write down a lot of our spells, and the results, like what type of spell it was, how we done the spell, the steps we done, and the results. We write that down in our Book of Shadows. But even as a magical practitioner, or if you're a spell, like as a witch myself, I write in my Book of Shadows spells that have went well and spells that might have had wacky results or not worked at all. Because sometimes when you do spells, that's what will happen. It'll either work exactly the way you want it to, it works but not, you got the thing you wanted but not necessarily the way you expected. I've experienced that can happen. Or it doesn't, it works better than you even imagined. That can happen. Or it doesn't work at all, and there's a reason for that. But it's important to record your results when you do spell work, and how, the way you done it, and if it worked, or your results. Because recording your spell work, it shows how you've grown as a witch or as a magical practitioner. It shows your personal growth. But by and large, there's no right or wrong way to do spell work. If it feels right and true the way you're doing it, then it is right and true. Same with crystal grids. There are many ways to make crystal grids. But there's no, you could research what a crystal grid is, how to make it, and I've spoke about what a crystal grid is, and I'll talk more about them in later videos. But if you feel like if you understand what a crystal grid is, how to make it, and you go about making one your own way, and it feels right and true in your heart, then it is. And make a crystal grid, doing spell work your own way, having your own spiritual beliefs and practices, it's not going to hurt anyone, so therefore it's not wrong. I would say there are beliefs that some people have because of their religion or practice, what are very harmful, what are wrong. So for the most part, there's no right or wrong spiritual path. There's just a path, and if the path you're on feels right and true in your heart and soul, it is. And if the path you're on isn't hurting you or hurting anyone else, then all is good. Same with spell work. If the rituals you're doing are, for your own personal growth and development, and for manifesting your goals, your dreams, all's good in the hood. And same with crystal grids, And by and large, there's a lot of spiritual beliefs, practices that we as spiritual people do, or we as witches do, that don't harm anyone. Because, but like, there are people out there who may be Christian, and I don't have a problem with Christians or the path that is Christianity. I just have problems with angelical Christians, people that are so blinded that they think their path is the right one and everyone should follow suit. Those types of Christians I have a problem with. And also, they are Christians, but though they preach love and all that jazz, they don't practice what they preach. And their attitude is very judgmental, it's very hateful. It's when I've met Christians like that. However, when it comes to like a belief, what I would say is wrong because it hurts people and it hurts minorities. Like there's certain Christians that believe being gay is wrong or sinful. Now that belief is harmful because it comes from hate, it comes from fear, misunderstanding, and people like myself who are part of the LGBT community as I'm gay, that belief harms members, harms a minority. So that belief is wrong. That belief is wrong. So beliefs that hurt people or cause harm, I would say those are wrong. And even in ancient times, some cultures, pagan cultures, would sacrifice humans as well as animals to appease their gods. But a lot of these higher beings, because I work with a lot of these higher beings, do not want human sacrifice, because the higher beings, gods, goddesses, they want us as human beings to grow and to evolve and become the best version of ourselves. And they want us to honour our head. We've all got hidden potential, and the higher powers want us to honour our hidden potential. So by sacrificing a human life to them, they just see that as a waste of life and a waste of someone's potential. And it's the energy of pain and suffering. And a lot of these gods, goddesses, they don't like the energy of pain and suffering. And even animal sacrifice, they don't like that either, because it's the energy of pain and suffering. And they don't, agree with that. Energy of pain and suffering. And even goddess Hecate, dogs are very sacred to her, and in ancient times dogs were sacrificed in her name. She knew that people done this because of their understanding of her, but she didn't appreciate that because it was the energy of pain and suffering, and then those dogs became lost souls which she had to look after, and she looked after them, but she said that she wouldn't have to look after them if it wasn't for human cruelty and human ignorance, essentially. So by and large, when it comes to spirituality, there are no right or wrong spiritual path. There's just the path that's right for you. There's no right or wrong spiritual practices or beliefs, as long as those beliefs don't harm you or anyone else. A belief, I would say, is only wrong, or practices are only wrong if they cause harm to you or others. For example, blood magic is a beautiful practice, and I have done some blood magic this year. So I've pricked my finger with a needle, and I've consecrated one of my books of shadows with my blood. So that's a form of blood magic that I've done this year, but after I pricked my finger, I plastered it as well, and I was very safe during it. However, again, in programs you will see blood magic dramatised and made out to be this big scary thing where you need lots of blood to do it, you don't. And again, with blood magic, it's important to be safe with it. And you can do this practice beautifully and safely. And I've met a good friend of mine who does a lot of blood magic, but they do it safely as well. I'm not saying it's not a dangerous practice, of course it can, but as long as you know what you're doing and do it safely, it can be beautiful. And at the end of the day, when it comes to spirituality, for the most part, there's no right or wrong, as long as what you're doing doesn't hurt you or anyone else. But beliefs that do hurt others or hurt a minority of people, because even though we members of the LGBT community, if we all get together, there's lots of us, but we're still a minority at the end of the day. So beliefs, but believing it's wrong or sinful, those types of beliefs do cause harm. Therefore, those types of beliefs are wrong and dangerous as well. So as always, I hope this helps, giving food for thought as always, because when you're walking in when you're first new to spirituality, you might be going, right, there's so much out there, there's so many myths, there's so many mythology, there's so many beliefs. What should I believe? What should I think? What's right for me to think? What's not? At the end of the day, there are no really right or wrong answers. If it feels right and true in your heart and soul, and you feel intuitively it is, then it is right. And as long as the beliefs you've got and the practices you do don't hurt you or anyone else, then everything's good in the spiritualhood and everything's good in the world by and large. It's only when your beliefs, maybe the practices or beliefs you have, are dangerous or harm people and harm yourself, because if you cause suffering to others, that's energetically going to cause suffering to you in more ways than one as well. That's when it becomes a problem. As always, I hope this helps, giving food for thought, as always, some guidance. And until next time, stay safe, stay wise, walk your spiritual path with pride. And if you're a practicing witch like me, stay witchy. May meet, may part meet again. Blessed be.